Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Messi and Co. Live Edition. I am Ashley here, as always, with my incredible co-host Gian. Gian, happy Monday! Look at us, we're back. How are you, my friend?
Yo, we are back. I am so excited. I missed you. I missed everybody. Missed the listeners. Man, it's been a bit. We had some stuff that we had to take care of. But we are back and excited to get back into it. So much to talk about. Messi, Argentina, Colombia, Copa America, Inter Miami, freaking so much stuff. So I'm just excited. It's been a minute. And yeah, it's just wow. So happy to be here, really.
There's literally so much to talk about, and I don't even know where to begin. I mean, I think we should give people like a minute or two to join before we get into the heavy stuff.
So
But
if you want, I guess until people start getting in, if you want, I could talk about some of the events that I went to over the
yes,
last week or so, just to kind of give everybody a heads up. So obviously with Copa America being in town, all this stuff going on, there are a lot of events here in Miami, especially in the Wynwood area, which Ashley is very much familiar with. She's in the area. And I went to a bunch of stuff, a lot of stuff with Adidas, with Soccer Bible, with top ballers from the UK. It was just a bunch of really cool stuff. I went to a Copa 90 event on Friday at Cathedral Soccer. It's like about 3 fields where they play 5v5, 6v6, 7v7, and they hosted an event. Copa 90 is from the UK. They came down with Adidas and Top Baller, and they basically had a bunch of cool tournaments on there, 1v1s. You guys can check them out at Copa 90 on Instagram. And one of the prizes, I was there basically the entire event. At the end, it was the winner won $2,000, and they had the chance at going to the Copa America final. They had to score a penalty, and one of the girls actually took it, and she ended up going to, well, we don't know if she made it in, but
yeah.
she ended up going. So that was really cool. And then on Saturday, also in Wynwood, I went, or was it Sunday? No, Sunday. On Sunday, I went to another event that was also with Adidas. It was with Soccer Bible, and they had a really cool event where it was all like a really cool warehouse that was set up with a bunch of like new Adidas cleats, with a bunch of Messi jerseys and Colombia jerseys. They were giving away free merch. And then they had some lockers that were really cool where you got a chance to pick a locker and you opened it. And if it had a key, they had a bunch of really cool vintage kits that you could unlock, and then you can pick which kit you wanted. I actually got a Spain one, El Chino Silva, sick jersey, retro jersey.
Don't talk about Spain to me.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not happy about that. But they also have some cool Germany, England kits, a bunch of stuff. But man, hey, Miami and especially Wynwood was a place to be this weekend with the Copa America final. It was so fun. Met a bunch of cool people. And yeah, I don't know if any of you who are maybe in the area went. You guys can comment and let us know. But yeah, a bunch of cool stuff. What'd you do actually for the final? We had Euro and then we had Copa America. What'd you do?
Well, so to start the weekend, I was very lucky that I got to go Friday to an Inter Miami media event at the stadium.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Gian couldn't make it, but I went and represented the pod. And I didn't play in the actual media game, but I got to go and do a locker room tour, and I got to, meet a lot of people, meet a lot of players, talk with them, get sort of like suite access, behind the scenes access, which was awesome. I went on the field myself, and I did some some keepy uppies and got to shoot on goal a little bit. And I have to like say, I'm not just talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's video proof. I mean, number one, great penalty, but like I was doing free kicks, like getting top bins in my Air Forces. I know how to play. I'm just saying.
And you saw that penalty kick. That was some
Yeah,
good
I
form on
posted
that
on the
one.
Twitter account. People were very kind about my form. I appreciate it. But no, it was a
Also
really
saw you
cool event.
coaching up there with Gressel and
Yeah,
Taylor.
I got to, they had one team was coached by Julian Gressel and Robert Taylor. The other team was coached by Chelo Wenga and Franco Negri, and everyone was really nice and great spirits, super friendly. Yeah, I was basically chirping Robert Taylor and Julian Gressel the whole time, being like, "What are you doing with this lineup, this formation? Why do you do that?" And they were fun. So it was really fun. Shout out to Inter Miami for, sometimes we say that as an organization, it's not always perfect. And, they're obviously taking on Messi and all that comes with it is not always the easiest, but they put on a really good event for media that, work really hard to cover the sport and to cover the team, to let people all around the world know what's happening with the club. And so it was a really fun event, and I'm glad I went. And it was a great start to what was, summer soccer weekend, the finals of, I knew to do this. I need to go ahead. Show the penalty. Let's talk about my form.
The penalty. All right. I think the penalty is here. Hold on. Right up here. So let's show this penalty.
Look at that. Look at that form.
And she celebrated. Celebrated.
But look at the power straight down the middle, through the laces. I won't lie. Let me say this. I'm obviously a Messi fan. This show is called Messi and Co. I love Messi. But how every time you score a goal, you don't do the Sue is impossible. It's just natural. Like, all you want to do is go like this every single time. Like, it's like natural.
Hey, look, I can understand that. That must feel crazy when the entire stadium is doing that. I can say, but I would rather take my shirt and go like this. That's how I would rather celebrate.
Like this,
or
yeah.
that, like that. But no,
it was fun. It was a great kickoff to weekend, and then Sunday, yesterday had a lot of highs and lows. First, I watched England versus Spain with my family. Like I said, we have family who's in England and all my friends, and I had my England kit ready, and but after minute 3, I knew they weren't going to win. I'm like, Spain is way better. They're just not going to do it. But then Cole Palmer scored that incredible outside the box goal. And I mean, look, they had such good talent, but they played defensive, and Spain was the team of the tournament. They played every single game really well. Great energy, great display of football, great display of teamwork. They deserve to win. It's not coming home yet. One day it may come home, maybe once I'm dead, but
No, but I think both teams, obviously Spain because they won, but I think both teams have a really bright future because they're really young. Like, they have really great young players that are up and coming. Obviously England with Cole Palmer and Jude Bellingham and others. And you've got Spain that has Nico, that has Lamine, that has Dani Olmo, and then you've got Pedri that didn't play because he got injured, and Gavi.
Rodri only played half.
Yeah, so I think that these two teams this is probably not the last time they're going to see each other in a final. I'm a Spain fan, so I'm happy, but I'm sure that your team, England, will be in a final again. These two teams have a promising future, and it was definitely a great Euro. Like, I really enjoyed it. This summer was insane with all
both tournaments. Really, I mean, there were some dud games, definitely, some ups and downs, but both tournaments, I think, for the most part, lived up to what we were hoping for. When it comes to on the field, right? Like, there were a lot of great games, a lot of back and forth games, a lot of players showing out and trying to make a name for themselves. I agree. I mean, people forget that, like, since '96, I mean, England went almost 20 years without, like, really having any success in any major tournament. Like, the last 20 years, very unpromising, but the last few tournaments, they're definitely stepping it up. I think they're probably getting a new coach, keep getting those young talent, but agreed. I think it's a good time for England, for Spain, for a lot of the powerhouse teams in Europe, like, introducing themselves as being big clubs. And when you see, like, France, England, Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, etc., like, when you see them dominating, Italy even, it's fun, right? Like, that's the same thing in Copa when you see, Argentina, Argentina, Colombia, Brazil, like, when they are playing really big, high intensity games, it's super fun. And I think before we talk about last night, let's talk about a little bit about Inter Miami. But I will say that, for the on the field last night too, it was it was really great. Like both teams played, in my opinion, really, really well. Like towards the end, maybe it got a little chirpy, but especially compared to a lot of Copa games and a lot of sometimes, the South American passion and intensity, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like the semifinal of Colombia, Uruguay, right? Where it was like half the game was just like the fouls and the injuries and the complaining. Like this was just like from minute 1 to minute 120, really, it was just like battle, like really good defense, really good strategy. I really loved watching it. So we'll get to that. But before we do, I did want to talk about Inter Miami, because this is an Inter Miami podcast as well as a Messi and Co podcast. And we said, we had a couple things going on, so we didn't get to do as many episodes over the last few weeks than we normally would. But wow, of 5 games, 4, it was 5, right? 5 wins in a row for Inter Miami, or maybe 4 wins in a row without Messi and Suarez.
Yeah, I think it was incredible. That was crazy. We did not see that coming. Yeah.
I think we said, I'm trying to think, I'm not sure if it's 5 games or 6 games, because I don't know if we're technically counting Wednesday's game coming up as like where, because I mean, obviously Messi is not playing. Luis Suarez, I don't think he's going to start.
Is training already, so that was good news.
That was good news. Yeah, I mean, so let's see. Since St. Louis game 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so there's 5 games since Messi and Suarez left, and we won 4 of the 5. And out of a possible 15 points, we got 12. And like we said,
convincingly too. Like
convincing wins with 9 men, red cards, doesn't matter what it is. And so amazing performance from the team. A lot of players got to have their standout moments. Kremaski had a great couple of games, and now he's with the U.S. team in the Olympics, which he said months ago that he wanted to do. So I'm happy that he's getting the chance to do that. Well deserved, and he's a super bright young talent. Obviously, having Diego Gomez back has been great. Julian Gressel had some phenomenal games this past stretch when, they needed him to really be there as in the midfield, creating offense, goals, everything. He totally stepped up. Campana got great goals. So overall, agreed. It was really, really great to see, and shows the depth of this team. And knowing now, obviously, Suarez back, Messi will probably be a while. Team is in good form at the best time.
Yeah, I agree. This was a team effort. I think that, whereas when you had Luis Suarez and Messi playing on the team, there were a lot of times where there was a lot of individual, I think, magic, right? A lot of times where they'd bail you out. Suarez would bail you out with a last-minute goal. Messi would bail you out with a last-minute goal or a last-minute crazy pass. And this team had received, I think, a lot of backlash, or maybe not backlash, but criticism, rather, for them depending so much on those guys and maybe not looking so good when they were off the pitch. And then they come and string this many games together looking really good. And I think where they looked, I don't think I've seen them until this stretch play as much as just overall as a team as they have here. Like they were just, everybody was involved. Everybody was playing at the top level. Gressel had received so much criticism throughout the season, really showed why he is a figure on this team, why he's a staple in this midfield and wherever, basically anywhere, because it's not just the midfield. Sometimes he was playing as a right winger at one point. His ability to pass, his ability to center the ball and get things done. That's why he's on this team. That's why I thought that has him playing as many minutes as he does. Yeah. And then it was great to have Diego Gomez back. Diego Gomez is just amazing. Really take advantage of the time you have him on this team, because I don't know how much longer he's going to be with us. Yeah. He could be gone by as soon as this summer, or rather, we're already in the summer. So
in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, really, maybe in the next couple of weeks. It was nice to have Redondo back, and I think that he makes a big difference.
Busquets and Alba also, played their part in being leaders, and
of course,
and you don't always necessarily, maybe you're like, oh, they didn't score all the goals or all the assists, but what they did was they bring the winning mentality, leadership, right? Like you see it with both of them. Like, I mean, Busquets even getting the red card, obviously, it was kind of like the Cinderella moment for this game where they just kind of totally ran out of steam and all that, which is, it's okay. I understand. But just every game, their determination and will to win, and every game when the whistle blew and they had won and you saw how happy they were and just full of fire, even though they've won everything in soccer that there is to win. They've done everything. Every game doesn't matter. Middle game in Philadelphia on a Wednesday, they don't care. They're like, we're winning. We win. That's what we do.
The competition, that competitive spirit is still there, to your point. Like that was very much visible how happy they were celebrating these wins in the midst of two of our best players out. And then other people stepping up. I think that
there's one player we have to talk about.
Huh?
There's one player we have to talk about.
Oh, there's one player we have to talk about. Who? Bring it up.
Ian Frey.
That man, that is the revelation of the season. Because you knew, you had an inkling of what you had in him last season. But because of the injuries that he's had, you've never really saw him blossom to what you thought he could be. And man, since he's come back, not only is he a force on defense, but his ability to, on the set piece, to get in there, head the ball, and give you
in a row on set pieces.
Scoring, that is a revelation in and of itself. Like, it is incredible. And I think that if he's not already considered, he will be a starter on this team. I have no doubt. It just depends who he's going to start for in my eyes.
If he stays healthy for a full year, a full season, like from now to next summer, I would bet the house that next summer he gets picked up by a European team. Like, if he's able to play for the rest of this season and the beginning of next season, next summer's transfer window, he'll be going to Europe. He's that talented. He's so talented.
I need you to stop jinxing us, because you're gonna.
Well, we'll see how it goes with Gomez. We'll see if it makes it.
I know, but we need some of these guys. We can't send them all to Europe.
Well,
we can't send them all to Europe. We need some of them.
I know. But also, like we said, what we wanted Inter Miami to be is we want him to feel like that funnle of a team where over the next few years, especially with Messi and Suarez, hopefully Messi, knock on wood, that he's, is able to keep going, that the young players know that if they're young and really talented, they can come play with Messi and play for Inter Miami for a year and a half. And then, they have all the eyes of the world on them and they can get it to the next stage. That's what we want.
You want these young guys, instead of going to Argentina, instead of going to Brazil, instead of going to Mexico, say, hey, the gateway to Europe is MLS. The gateway to Europe is Inter Miami. And I think, to your point, if we can do that, that's what this team needs to be. And you're going to have some of the best talent coming over here on their way to Europe. And we've got to take advantage of this time with Messi. And my hope is that once Messi leaves, there's already, here in Miami, we have an NBA team called the Miami Heat, and they're known for their culture. And I think that's what they're trying to develop at Inter Miami, is that Inter Miami culture, where once the greats leave, that culture remains and others step in, and there will always be the next great coming to Inter Miami. I think that these young guys are going to continue to develop. They're going to learn here and they're going to move on. But in the meantime, we got to enjoy them, man. And I love having Ian Frey back. I'm so excited to have him.
He really I hope he stays healthy and he stays good. I think Tata did a great job managing him after those first couple games where he played, so many minutes and was just like so amazing, that he really managed him the last few games where, obviously Cincinnati was a tough game, but, was able to manage him. And I think he'll be refreshed and ready to go. So super happy about that. We have a game Wednesday against Toronto. Hopefully Inter Miami will kind of go back to the winning ways after the blip with Cincinnati. We'll still have, obviously, we'll probably have Suarez back, even if it's only a bench role, but still have Suarez back. Redondo, I saw a comment here. Did Redondo get called up? I believe he's a reserve, so he has not gone yet. And
I know he wasn't called. He wasn't called in the initial 18 for Martirano.
He's like a reserve if the 18 can't go, but that hasn't been decided yet. So for all intents and purposes, he should be available Wednesday. Kremaski obviously not available. I'm pretty sure Diego Gomez has already left, right, to go to.
Most likely, I think in Spanish they call them concentración, but the where they all get together before the camp. Sorry, camp. I think it's starting now, so they're probably heading out. Sorry, I just fumbled
That's
that one.
okay.
But
That's okay.
sometimes I think in
we have
Spanish, and
we have Robert Taylor, we have Julian Gressel, we have plenty where we should Wednesday. I think get a victory and keep the streak going. And just keep seeing what
restart
the
the
timeline
streak.
will be for Messi.
Let's restart the streak because we were doing so well and then ended on that 6-1 that we're gonna pretend that didn't happen.
We're gonna forget. We both the 6 goals. It was excessive. Busquets getting the red card, unnecessary. But look, I really mean it when I said the first 4 of those games was so impressive. They worked so hard. They probably have gained so much confidence and togetherness that just the clock ticked a second too far. They just were so gassed. It was a very difficult environment against Cincinnati's A team midweek in Cincinnati. All of them knowing this was the last game before the end of the Copa break. So I'm going to give them a pass for it. If it materializes and they keep, the bad performances, that'll be a different discussion. But I'm hoping, I'll give them the 12 out of 15 points and say, let's keep moving.
Yeah, I agreed with that. So we've got Toronto up next at Chase Stadium. So we're happy that we're actually going to be back at the stadium. It's been a while since we played at home. Last time we played at home was against Columbus. Yeah, against Columbus. Since there, we've been on the road. So Ashley and I are happy to be back at the stadium. So we'll be bringing.
And then Saturday too.
Yeah, back. Actually, we've got 3 back-to-back home games. So that's going to be good for us to get back on track, having some of the guys back. Unfortunately for Messi, as we look at that, I think that to me, initially, it looks like it's going to be a couple months, I think, if you saw how that thing ballooned up, like that was like,
I think I honestly, I don't know. It kind of made me think of Diego Gomez's high ankle sprain, where that was like, he ended somewhere between 5 and 6 weeks. He got back. That's what I'm hoping.
But I don't know. I wonder if it was as bad as that. Did you see that? It was weird because typically when you roll your ankle, you roll it like it goes towards the outside. He rolled it like towards the inside. It was wild. I'm not sure if you got a chance to see that, but
I know. But then, and also because he was going on it. Yeah,
look,
I mean,
that is nasty.
No, it is super nasty. I think as long as it's not ligament damage, it's not an Achilles, not based on what we can see. Like if it was an Achilles, he wouldn't have been able to walk at all. And he was obviously able to walk and do all the celebrations. It looks like a bad ankle sprain. I'm also hoping because Argentina won, it also helps. Maybe takes shaves a week or 2 or 3 off what was going to be, so I'm hoping 6 to 8 weeks.
100% he doesn't play. And especially knowing that Argentina now has qualifiers coming up. And I believe it's September, October, November, December. Throughout those months, they've got to be like 3 or 4 qualifiers for Argentina in there. So I think that he wants to make sure that he's ready for those qualifiers. So that's what kind of worries me. But I think we can both agree at least a month, at minimum. At minimum
a month. Like I said, I'm hoping it's 6 to 8 weeks. We'll see. It's a shame because we got so close. We felt like, he had gotten a couple scares earlier in the tournament. He didn't play in Peru, and then I thought like, oh, let's just get through this game. But it was not meant to be that he got out scot-free. It's something we all kind of thought could happen, and unfortunately it did.
Pretty crazy that when we see how I think how that ankle looks, the fact that he was able to get up, play the rest of that first half, and then play part of the second half.
If he had not planted his foot when he was doing that sprint in the second half, he would have finished the game. Like, he's crazy.
Yeah,
it's like Jimmy Butler in the Bulls game. Like
100%.
He tore his freaking knee in half, and he played the whole game. Like crazy.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, we'll see. I don't want to. Like I said, I don't want to predict too heavily one way or the other. Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. It'll be 4 to 6 weeks. I'm hoping it's not hoping, but if it's 6 to 8 weeks, I'd understand it. We have enough to get us to that point, as long as he has enough time before the playoffs start, maybe gets in towards the end of Leagues Cup. We had a feeling that there was going to be a price. There was a price to be paid for him playing in Copa America, and especially to play in Copa America and win. And we knew that coming in. Inter Miami knew that. Everyone knows that. He's under contract for the rest of the season and next season. Let's just, like I said, let's hope for the best. Let's hope it's what it looks like, which is just like it's a gnarly ankle sprain. It's no ligament damage. It's no muscular damage. He can heal his body. He can heal everything and then finish out the season, right?
Yeah.
That's what we can. When we know more, we'll know more.
I'm hoping that's the extent of it too, because I know that on that second, basically when he went out of the game, there were comments that was actually a muscle strain as well.
Yeah, but it wasn't. People thought it was, but it was his ankle. Like
did it get cleared up
yeah.
that it wasn't? Okay.
Yeah, because he took off his shoe and he didn't get any treatment for any muscle. It was only the treatment for the ankle.
That's great. That's great to hear. Yeah. So, but in the meantime, we do have Suarez coming back, and we do have, some of these other guys have stepped up, and Ian Frey and Diego Gomez and all these people. So I think that will be okay as we move forward.
I agree with this. Yeah, usually at least 2 weeks. The MLS season is different, though. This is for players who play in Europe or who don't normally start their season until August. Obviously, the MLS season is different. Like during Christmas and stuff, he won't be playing. That's the difference, is when everyone else will be. Some players can call him rubber band. Yeah, like I said, we'll see. We will definitely see. Fingers crossed. Luis Suarez has obviously, though, remained healthy and well, and he didn't get as many minutes as maybe even I thought. I thought he'd get a little bit more minutes than he ended up getting, but Uruguay got third place, and he's back. I doubt he's going to start Wednesday. Maybe he will. Maybe he will, because he didn't get that many minutes in Copa, and maybe he's ready, right? Like, so it could be that. We'll wait and see. But having him, Busquets,
I think he could be ready. He's probably the one that's ready to step in right away. Like I said, we saw pictures already of him in training
because he didn't get to play as much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him play this weekend. He'll probably start, in my opinion. We'll see.
Sad if he misses Leagues Cup. Look, like I said, again, Messi is one of those superhumans where it could be either end of the spectrum. We could be like, oh, maybe it's just whatever, and it's 12 weeks, which would be terrible. But maybe he's like, it's 4 weeks and he's back, and he could be there for the end of Leagues Cup. You never know with him. You really never know with him. So we'll wait and we'll pass judgment when it gets closer. But let's talk about the game last night, right? Outside of the Messi injury, outside of what is going to happen with Inter Miami, because again, we just won't know until we hear more, right, from the medical, until we get that email or that tweet saying Baptist health update from Inter Miami that we're all dreading. Let's talk about, before the game even started, let's talk about getting into the game. And I'm going to let you cook for this, Gian, because I think obviously you see Comenbol more than I do, and you're much more familiar with the organization and just sort of previous Copa Americas. And I think, you probably have a more knowledgeable perspective than I do. And so I want you to start by saying, like, what is your overall thoughts about not only just last night and the security issue, and obviously the fact that they just were not prepared for these fans and for this final, but just the overall Copa America tournament. What are your thoughts from a like a structure organization standpoint, not a playing standpoint?
Well, to me, it was a complete mess, and I think that many would agree as well. It wasn't just last night. I think everything led up to what we saw last night, which was obviously the final, the one where you could expect the most amount of people wanting to be in the stadium, around the stadium, in the area, people with tickets, without tickets. Everything that they've done so far, when I say they, I'm talking about CONMEBOL, everything that CONMEBOL has done, the organizer of this tournament, has been bad, not up to par to what you would expect with a tournament of this magnitude. All those events led up to what happened last night. And I think that, we heard Bielsa talk terribly about everything that has happened leading up to throughout this entire tournament. Taylor Twellman also talked very poorly about this. I think that CONMEBOL had a responsibility for the players, for media, for everybody involved, the fans, to provide a safe environment, to provide adequate facilities, to provide security, to do all that. They did none. They did none of that. And I think what they did is they chose money. They chose to save money. They chose to cut corners. They chose to not go and follow what was told to them by mayors, by people in
And they
charge.
thought maybe American fans would be less intense.
Exactly. By people in the people that are in charge and have done these tournaments here in the US, that have done things like the Super Bowl, that have done things like the NBA finals. Like, this isn't a US problem. This isn't a Miami problem. This isn't, you and I had a discussion. This isn't a Hard Rock Stadium problem. We've hosted Super Bowls. We've hosted finals here in Miami.
Super Bowl 2 years ago. Yeah.
I mean, Conmebol is yet to take responsibility for doing this. The mayor of Miami and different people in Miami have said, we were willing to provide the resources necessary to make sure that an event like this went smoothly, to provide the amount of security. And what ended up happening, what they specifically recommended to Conmebol said, no, it's okay. We don't need what you're recommending. We're going to do what we think. Why? Because they would have had to spend more money if they would have brought in the amount of security that they really needed, the amount of police that they really needed, the amount of medical personnel that they needed. They would have spent a lot more money to set up the right perimeters, all those sorts of things. And unfortunately, when you cut corners like that, things like what happened yesterday, it's just poor. I mean, the fans, look, how many videos, how many pictures of these fans have we seen where they're smushed and smothered against the gates? There are people passing out. There are kids getting trampled. I've seen videos of kids on the ground being trampled, people fainting. It's just ridiculous. Then you've got people that just completely damaged our stadium here in Miami. The
escalators shattered.
The escalators. You saw that video of the escalators.
Yeah. That is just so unnecessary. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Like,
you got people going, but also, I also want to put, I think, the responsibility on some of these people that attended. I don't know if they're locals. I don't know if they're people that just traveled from South America. It wasn't just Colombians. It was the Argentine fans as well. It was both. And I don't know if they're locals. I don't know if it's just people that came here with no money and just said, I'm just going to show up. But man, like, they were climbing up things, going in the vents, like, that's just ridiculous and so unsafe. And Ashley, let me know if you agree with me. This should have been canceled. This should not have gone through. How do you allow 7,000 people? That's what was reported. 7,000 people go in through those gates without checking tickets, which is, to me, the least of the problems. The tickets, whatever, even though it's a big deal. You didn't check for weapons. There could have been people with explosives. There could have been people with guns, with knives. For someone who watches a lot of South American soccer, who has gone to watch games in South America, bro, there are a lot of good people that get into those stadiums, but there are a lot of people on drugs, a lot of people that are ready to fight with knives. You that know about English soccer, you know how those things can get outside of the stadium with shanks, knives, all those things. How do you allow
all day?
Exactly. How do you allow 7,000 people to go in there without checking their bags? How dangerous could that have been? Bro, I saw videos of people with bottles, snuck in bottles of aguardiente, like that. Bro, they could be used as a weapon. Number one, you know how much they're drinking? A bunch of drunk people in there. Like, I don't know. I think it was a disaster. To sum up, I think it was a disaster. I think it shouldn't have been played. My wife told me, hey, they're probably going to cancel this. I said, no, they're not. They should, but they're not. You know why? Because there's a lot of money involved. That's what they care about.
Never.
There's no way they're going to cancel that. And you have a bunch of people that I feel so bad for because they paid thousands of dollars and they were scared.
Sue, though, and they're going to get their money.
They didn't have a good experience. And there were people that didn't even make it inside the stadium. The own players from Colombia and from Argentina had to go out to bring their families in. People that were on live shows, like I think at Pupo Zanetti, there's different people that had to leave the live show and said, give me a second. I need to step out to get my family. It was a complete crap show. And I think that, again, just to sum up, this isn't a Miami thing. It isn't a US thing. We've been holding major events forever. This is a Conmebol being necios, not listening and doing whatever they want because they want to save money. And at the end of the day, it was a poor product from the security to the fields, horrible fields. I didn't mention that. It was just an all-around mess.
Agreed. No, I agree with everything you said. I think that, look, I'm not always the one who's like, oh, this country does everything amazing. I'm not, of course not. I understand. And our main sport is not soccer. And I understand that soccer, the passion of soccer and things like that is different worldwide. And that's all fair to say. But as you very rightly pointed out, and I agree, and I would go to battle against anyone who said this. I've been going to Hard Rock Stadium since I was a little girl. I've been going there for 25 years. Never have I come close to an issue like that. They have Super Bowls. Like, you're like, that's not the same thing. The Super Bowl is still one of the most watched events in the world, where you have billions of dollars of famous people there that need security. Trust me. You have F1, billions of dollars of people there. You need security. Even, it sounds funny, like Taylor Swift concert. She'll be doing 3 concerts here in October, going to be filled with 70,000 people every night, screaming, running to get there. Like, it's going to be absolutely fine. And that's all to say, they just, the organizations did not listen to the city or the stadium protocol. And what I hope this taught is that for 2026 World Cup, the US needs to have a stronger backbone and not just say, okay, we'll defer to you as the soccer organizing body. Like, we'll take the money and everything like that, because they let CONMEBOL do what they wanted to do. They're like, okay, this is your event. Just, we'll have it here in our stadiums and we'll get the money and it's great. They could have done more too. And I think now they learn, like, if this is happening on American soil, they're going to have to follow X, Y, and Z rules. And FIFA too is nowhere near CONMEBOL.
That's what CONMEBOL did. They treated this like a Taylor Swift concert. Like, it's not like there's a different piece. It's not,
Yeah.
I wish I knew the songs. I'm sure I know one of them, but like this is a different crowd. This is not people that are gonna, you have to. They knew what they were dealing with. They do all they're CONMEBOL. They know their fans.
Yep.
They knew what they were dealing with.
And Miami has one of the largest Latino populations in the country.
No, and they put that to the side because of the greed, and this is what ends up happening. But I know we could probably do a whole show. Or an hour on this, but
I mean, look at Arrowhead Stadium, for example, in Kansas City. Like, it's during a playoff game, 90,000 full of crazy football fans. Never do you have these issues, like, not even close to these kind of issues. And this is a country that has gun violence and a lot of other things that we won't get into. Never comes close to any of those issues with other events. So I think
but the actual game, though,
stricter and better.
But the actual game, I guess, let's get to that.
Yeah. Thank God. I mean, we talked about it. Like, thank God, when it was all said and done, there was no weapon violence that we saw. No storming of the field. No, crazy brawls in the stands. That I kind of, for the whole game, was like in bated breath, just thinking like, oh, if the game escalates, once one team scores, once the other fan base knows that they're not winning, what's going to happen? And thank God, luckily, throughout the game, security de-escalated all of the different areas slowly, methodically throughout the game. They took out as many people as they could that didn't belong. They secured the perimeters, and it ended up working out, but not without its issues.
Yeah. No, I agreed. I think, look, for me, this game, I think Colombia started on the right foot. I think Colombia did really well in that first half. Argentina, within the first few minutes, they had the first chance, but then I think Colombia just really came out aggressive. They were trying to be the protagonist in the game. They were using their strength, which is speed. They were the speedy team. They like to get out on the run. As soon as they recover the ball, just play out to the wings, and then have Lucho Diaz get involved. Have Rios get involved on the right. Like, they were doing really well, playing fast, and I think that throughout that game. Or throughout that first half, like towards the end, they started kind of fizzling out and giving Argentina more possession of the ball. And that's what Argentina wanted to do, because once they got possession of that ball, they basically kept that throughout the entirety of the second half, where they wanted to play that slow ball, hold possession, touch, not really give Colombia the opportunity to get on the run. And that really worked well. They kind of muted Colombia. Colombia still had a few chances here and there, but I think Argentina was able to do that. Messi's obviously the guy that creates the plays. Everything runs through him. He ended up not playing at the end because he ended up having to leave, and Di Maria kind of stepped in. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say this, and I tweeted this on our page. I think Colombia to me, in this tournament was the better team and still was the better team. In soccer, in football, the best team doesn't always win, and that's part of football. That's how it works. It's whoever plays the best in that, and sometimes it's
wills it, yeah.
who wills it, and sometimes it's a bit of luck. Sometimes it's a bit of luck. That's in all sports. I think Colombia was a better team in this tournament. They had the harder path to get to the final.
Sure.
Argentina didn't really wow me this tournament. They didn't. They didn't wow me. Messi was still the best player on that team. Obviously, he didn't look like the Messi of always that we got used to, but he was still the guy who was providing the most assists. He was always involved. I think Messi was the best player, but they didn't wow me. Colombia wowed me. And I think that when it comes to last night's game, we didn't see the Colombia that we saw all tournament long. They looked different. Yeah. And at the same time, though, kudos to Argentina, because Argentina was the stingiest defense in this entire tournament. They played very good defense. Ecuador, I'm proud to say, because I'm Ecuadorian, was the only team to score on them and almost beat them. But they were stingy defense. And at the end of the day, I'm going to say congrats to them. They did a really good.
Yeah, well, because you also your wife is from Colombia, which is why you obviously you held like me with England. I get it. You hold a special place for it. I totally agree with you with your sentiment. I think last night was one of those examples where it's more that I think Colombia lost the game as opposed to Argentina won the game. And that does happen in situations. But I will also say this, look, Argentina, I mean, before these last three, Messi lost, 3 finals in a row? They always were maybe the team where they had the best talent and they had Messi and they had other players, but they couldn't win and they couldn't figure out how to do it. And now they've just made it to the complete other side where they can. And to your point, yeah, Colombia was better overall throughout the tournament. But Argentina knew what they were doing. From game 1 against Canada to now, they knew, like when I was talking to Alex Guerrero from Lemon City on Friday, and I said, he's from Colombia too, so he's probably a little disappointed, but he's like, Colombia's the better team. And I said, Argentina's been playing on 80. They've been playing on 80%. When they're playing on 100%, I wouldn't bet against them. This version of Argentina, this aura of Argentina. And they proved it last night that they just have figured out the championship formula, right? Like you said, it's not necessarily about the best attack or the best this, that, and the other. It's just about figuring out. And their defense was magnificent last night. Like Christian Romero, who I watch all year because I'm a Tottenham fan, played phenomenal. Lisandro Martinez, who was hurt all year, keep getting foot injuries at Manchester United, had a very difficult year injury-wise, played magnificent the whole entire tournament. Angel Di Maria, who really doesn't play 90 minutes anymore for Argentina and hasn't for a while. When Messi went out, he said, I'm the talisman. I will take over. I will create and figure things out. And he was immense.
Yeah, he was good.
Dora Martinez, had a fantastic tournament. Obviously scored the most goals. I mean, Giovanni Lo Celso, also who plays for Tottenham, who I watched during the regular year, had that fantastic assist. It was just Rodrigo the ball towards the end of the game. He's like, okay, I'm now controlling the midfield, and we're doing things when he didn't in the beginning of the game. He figured out how to get control of it. That's what it is. It's just players who know at this point how to win their battle, right? It's all one-on-one battles. So it's like you're 11 versus 11. Maybe as a collective unit, Colombia was better, but for Argentina, they won every single one-on-one battle. And when that happens, you're not going to lose. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think that, again, Argentina played a really good defensive scheme on Colombia. To me, and maybe there's I don't know how much of a point there is in saying this, but I still just think Colombia was a better team. I think that I expected more from Argentina. From the very beginning, we said they were the favorite. And I expected Argentina to look better throughout this tournament, and they didn't. They didn't.
Will history remember that, or will they remember that they won it?
No, but I'm just saying that I thought they were going to be a better team, and I'm just looking towards the future. They've won 3 back-to-back ginormous tournaments: Copa America, World Cup, and then another Copa America. You've got no more Di Maria. You've got a Messi that doesn't look like the Messi of old. There are no besides those two. There are no difference makers on that Argentina team. There are no guys that can will this team. They're all very good. They're all very good players, all of them. There's no difference makers on this Argentina team. So I don't know what they're going to look like.
Well, they may develop.
Forward.
I mean, look, Alejandro Garnacho, for example, who didn't really play at all during the tournament. For Manchester United, he's a difference maker. He's, fantastic. He's only 18. I think we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see over these next 2 years how Scaloni, Messi, etc., how they try and sort of reposition and reinvent this team. Because, I mean, look, we'll see what this injury is again. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, how things go.
Yeah. Can I just say this? And I'm sorry to interrupt. If look right here, all day, I can't tell who that is. All day, it's a red card for me. I'm pulling him down, and I'm making sure we might end up with 10 men, but it's minute one.
You know how tired he was? He wasn't thinking like that. You're so tired that it's
you kill that guy anytime in football. You absolutely demolish him. You are not letting Lautaro Martinez in extra time, minute 112, get a one-on-one against your goalie. That to me was a huge mistake. I'm taking red card, 10 men, the rest of extra time just to get to penalties. I'm just going to say that.
A lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda-ves, I think that if Julian Alvarez doesn't get in the way, which he normally wouldn't, Messi scores that goal in the first half 10 times out of 10. The first 2 minutes, he could have scored the goal.
Yeah, that's true.
Colombia could have scored, that. It's just, that's how the games work. It's games of opportunities, who takes them, who doesn't. In the end, Argentina
100%.
just took one more opportunity than Colombia did.
Yeah. But they were even. They're the two teams I think that deserved to make it to the final, and I think that I'm just really proud of both teams. I'm happy for Argentina, obviously coming out as a Copa America winner. Great for Di Maria to really go out huge. For Messi, we don't know how much longer he'll play.
Hopefully it gives him the energy, though, to do a little bit more, which fans around the world want. You just want Messi for as long as you can get him.
100%. And then prouder for Colombians. I mean, they didn't win. It's sad, but at the end of the day, they had a great tournament.
Look, they didn't qualify for a World Cup 2 years ago. Look how much they've changed in 2 years.
Yeah.
They've grown immensely. I totally agree with you. And I also, to repeat what I said earlier in the episode, I was so impressed and proud of the fact that really it did not become a ticky-tacky foul, fighting game.
The ref let them play. The ref definitely let them play.
Excellent. He really, especially from that, I would say from the 60 to 80 minute mark, team sometime, whoever, I don't know who it's going to be yet, but thank God.
Hey, it finally happened. It finally happened.
It was almost Jurgen Klopp for 5 minutes. That was fun. That was fun dreaming for me. Yeah. There will be a lot of exciting stuff, and our hope is to continue to cover sort of soccer as it's happening all around the world. Exciting news about soccer, big games, obviously Inter Miami, obviously Messi. Hopefully he feels better, he gets better. The injury isn't as severe as maybe we could expect, or we'll see. Hopefully he gets better soon. Hopefully this win and everything continues to invigorate him, and we see a great end of the season for Inter Miami, and then next year as well. He looks he's obviously really happy. I'm sure he also like the adrenaline of winning is why he was able to walk around and smile and laugh. I mean, I'm sure when he woke up this morning, he was like, "Oh, this isn't good." But
he did not look hurt when he was walking around. He had the biggest
Once the final whistle blew, he was like, he's gonna backflip. But that's all adrenaline.
Bawling, crying to the biggest smile we've seen, and him to be able to share that with it's crazy. He moves to Miami, has a blast here with his friends, with everything, with his family, now wins a Copa America, and he's 20 minutes away from home. He's here with his family, with his kids.
He had to suffer a lot, especially internationally in the beginning of this career. Obviously with Barcelona, always been a champion and has great moments. But I think the reason why people love him so much, why we love him so much, is because he's always played the right way. And he's played, as you can just tell, with so much love and just good intentions, always, playing for family, for his country, for his teammates, plays the right way, creates magic, and so people want him to succeed. And the fact that he's getting to end his career, who maybe hopefully a couple more years, but finishing out his career, winning the World Cup, winning Copa, chance to keep showing their worth. But to wrap this up, congratulations, Argentina. Well, in the end, well deserved. They're a championship team. They play like one. Hopefully, Messi is able to heal and get better and be back in a few weeks. Maybe 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 6 to 8. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Hoping it's good news. Inter Miami continue to play well. We will have a post-game / preview episode before the game on Saturday. So we will do another episode. I'm not sure if it's going to be live or recorded. We'll let you know. Like we said, we are back. We will be covering all of these Inter Miami games. We will continue doing the live streams, the post games, the previews, all of that good stuff. We appreciate you guys' patience. We've had a lot of people watching tonight, so thank you. I know it's been a little while. We love this community. We love talking to you guys. We love talking about Inter Miami, about Messi, about soccer. So we're back.
Make sure you thumbs up.
Oh my God. I'm washed. I forgot. I have to I've completely. What are you guys doing? Follow Messi and Co. Hello. Follow Messi and Co. on Twitter /X. Make sure YouTube, 5 Reasons Sports, notification bell on. We'll be back. We're going to have a lot more episodes coming. Make sure you're there. We want to see your comments on live. Instagram, Messi and Co. 5 Reasons Sports. TikTok, Messi and Co. 5RSN. Posting a lot of content there. Twitter, like I said, we'll be doing polls, breaking news, and live tweeting of the game, all that good stuff. So make sure you're there every step of the way. But for this episode of Messi and Co., I'm Ashley. That is Gian. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.